So it goes without saying that every time we do a Godforsaken relaunch, we have some sort of technical difficulty with something, right? We've had issues with laptops, we've had issues with the cameras, we've lost things, we've had issues with laptops doing updates and then never stopping again. And at the start of this season, we had no different. So at the start of this season, my GoPro got run over by a loaded logging truck, and I hadn't even hit the record button, was the best part of it. So when that was all said and done, we figured, well, that's it. We've got it over and done with, and we should be good to go, right? 2 weeks ago, we got a phone call from CBSA, which is Canada Border Services Agency, for those of you who don't know, to ask us for an interview regarding our immigration status. And we figured, great, because right now we've got an application in and for permanent residency, and as far as we're aware, everything's been up to date so far, and we've just been given our biometric details for this application, so we figured everything was being processed just fine, and it turns out that we were wrong. Turns out over a year ago we made a mistake with some paperwork, and we've been living here as illegal immigrants for a year solid. And what that means for us now is, after being in contact with several lawyers, is we got to go. Like we're actually under removal order right now, and it could become deportation order. So it wasn't something we were planning for whatsoever, and it's kind of really throwing a curveball into the works for everything we've been trying to do and everything we've been trying to build in our near future and everything. But we're going to have to return. We're going to be banned from Canada for an entire year. And all of this because we made one paperwork error. The paperwork error we made at the end of our last status, we were supposed to have applied for a restoration of status. We were under the impression that you can only apply for one thing at a time, so when we put our application in, we figured that we were good. Entirely our mistake. We maybe should have sought out some sort of legal advice. But at the time, we didn't really have the money, and so far everything's been just fine. We've managed to negotiate our way just fine through immigration. Otherwise, I really don't know what to tell you. Like right now, we are kind of in limbo. We're waiting to hear from a removals officer who's going to give us a deadline and work with us to help us leave the country because they're going to make sure we're going. And, I mean, to me, the most frustrating part about all of this is the fact that it's taken an entire year to realize. They've continuously taken money from us since in applications, and they're still being processed, which is the crazy thing. So right now, myself and Emma, we are classed as illegal immigrants. Like, there's no questions asked. We are illegal immigrants. We have overstayed our welcome by paperwork error. It doesn't matter whichever way it is. Technically not a crime in Canada. There's no writing about that in the criminal code. But we are going to get deported because we made a paperwork error. Real illegal immigrants are not in contact with CIC. They're not in contact with immigration. They're not in contact with CBSA. Meanwhile, they're going to be carrying on doing whatever they've been doing this whole time. And people like myself and Emma who've made paperwork errors along the way, the people are going to bear the brunt of it. Purely because we've kept in contact, they know where we are, and we're agreeing to do what they say in the bid that we can come back here again in the future and continue. We didn't mean to make this mistake. It's a genuine mistake. If we'd known any differently, we'd have rectified it immediately. If we'd have been told any sooner, we'd have been rectified it immediately. First CBSA officer we talked to told us that we might be able to apply for a temporary resident permit in the meantime. And he will hold back the process for the removal order as long as possible in the bid that we might get our temporary resident permanency in. 2 weeks later, the other phone call comes from the next officer. And if you know anything about immigration, especially in Canada here, nothing happens in 2 weeks. So we have applications in right now that if they came in, we'd be allowed to stay. Application processing times are something like 1 to 2 years. So where does that leave us? We're going to end up talking about Canada's immigration program more often coming up in this channel. It's not something we're going to be doing right now because of the situation I'm in. There's a few things that we found out along the way that definitely need to be shared because the system's not working as it should be. Canada as a whole, the public are petrified of illegal immigrants. They don't realize how many illegal immigrants are supposedly in this country right now and are unrecorded, and CIC immigration, CBSA don't know where any of these people are. They only know where we are because we've kept in contact. We've tried to be legit the whole way through. We've been on the telephone. As soon as they sent me an email to request this interview, I called them up within 20 minutes of receiving the email, and we're going through with all their paperwork because that's what we've tried to do. The whole way, we've tried to do everything legit. We've paid tax on all our earnings. We've, like everything we've done has been 100% legit. We've had no access to healthcare. We've had no access to benefits. We've had no access to anything. And now, because we made a paperwork error, we've been waiting all this time to try and get new work permits, and now it's time to go. I really don't know what to tell you. Like, my frustration is pretty high right now. Yeah, it is what it is, I guess, right? This is what we were talking about when we were talking about the next big problem we got to deal with. Well, this is the biggest problem we've ever dealt with. We thought we were living the dream, and evidently one piece of paperwork said we weren't. And the best part of it is the piece of paperwork's a $400 piece of paperwork. It's not even anything expensive. Like, it's not a massive mistake we've made by any means in my mind, but apparently here it is. So, yeah, it's not going to be long before you see us back in the UK, and I presume in lockdown, because I don't even know what's going on over there. I've heard about this COVID thing. I guess we don't have it out here because nobody has TV, so I guess, is that something to do with it? Or is it another one of these internet acronyms? Because I've only just found out what creepypasta and Reddit is. But anyway, there's a big update on what our situation is right now. It's not a good one at all. Yeah, I have to watch this space. We're going to have to go back to England and maybe requalify. There's a few things we can do. So, you're going to have another large part of the journey to follow. A very stressful part of the journey. We don't know what it's going to bring in the immediate future. We don't know how long we're going to be here yet. Meanwhile, the show's got to go on. We have sheep to harvest. We have garden to start getting ready. I guess we'll keep you up to date with our journey and how the deportation process goes, because it's all new to us too. I didn't really know how to tell you guys. Like, like, we've had all these comments recently to say, oh, it's wonderful to see you living the dream and how everything's going so well and this, that, and the other. And meanwhile, I've known for 2 weeks that this is happening. I didn't really want to say anything until we knew for sure, and now we know. So here we are. I'm telling you, we're not keeping it a secret any longer. Now you know. So yeah, I guess we're gonna pump out as much content as we can while we're here, and then we'll just see where it goes. It's not the end of the channel by any means. It may be the beginning of the channel. Who knows, right? Only time will tell. So we're trying not to be too down about it. Obviously, it's a massive disappointment because this is what we've been spending a large part of our life working towards, and we've gone without, and we've put a lot of effort into this. And to have made a mistake a year ago and it taken this long to have even caught up with us is just extremely frustrating. Otherwise, like I said, we're trying to keep upbeat because being angry and sad about this is not really going to help the situation right now. We're still here for the meanwhile, and yeah, just got to look on the bright side of things. It'll be nice to go back and visit some family and visit some friends, if nothing else, and hopefully a year later we'll be back out here again and we can continue. So yeah, all I can ask you to do is share this video and like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and thanks for coming with us once again. We really do appreciate the support. We really do appreciate you being a part of the journey so far, and we hope you're going to stick with us for the next part of this journey because it's going to be interesting. Yeah, thanks for coming with us once again, and we'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers.